working.
Oh, I have to
Refresh.
look at all our things here. Test 1, 2.
Oh, me. The Geek Girls.
Give me tests, ladies.
Testing 1, 2 to make sure that I can be heard.
Good range, Ray?
Test 1, 3. So
Okay.
it's always gonna be like that. I'm sorry, Linda. You've
Yep.
heard me do that a million times.
It's a great
Anything
story.
but
When
that.
Connor was little, we went to see the band Rob used to be in, and weird. Um, Craig was doing a mic check, the piper, and he was like, "Test 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2." And Connor's like, "The next number's 4." He was like, trying. It was so cute.
That's super sweet.
I like the makeup.
Yeah, well, I got my roots done today, and she ironed my hair and everything, my new cut, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and put a face on. Let's see how that goes. And it came out like horror mode. I had to tone everything the fuck down, but
Well, on camera, looks good.
yeah, I was like, I can go a little over because camera.
Mhm. So you're okay there. And let me tie this off, and I promise I'll put down the yarn.
I'll have a yarn intervention.
I don't need no yarn intervention. You get away from
Now,
my yarn.
we do have a
Giant
theme
stash.
song.
Yay!
Yay! But I don't have it on Stream Deck yet, and I'll only be able to do that live. I was thinking about this. We could do it, like, put it live in the show, and then when it ends, I could do a 3, 2, 1. That way, live listeners get to hear it, and it's still easy to edit together
The only
for
problem
the podcast.
The only problem is that so when I'm looking at Discord, which is on time, I can't see you.
Right, but I will verbally
then-
say 3,
Oh,
2,
you'll
1.
so you'll
So, and you can hear me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that'll
okay,
make
got
it
it.
so that, like, later when I edit the podcast, I can just cut out the 3, 2, 1, and it'll go straight in.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna do the
No,
just
no.
Okay, gotcha. That'll work.
Like, that would work for, I don't know, other shit, but this was the way it would come up. That would work. Do I even have it on this? Oh my god. Fuck you, Windows. It's pop-up alerts making all kinds of noise. I'm like, those shouldn't even be on.
Yeah.
Why do you keep turning them back on? That's not cool.
Didn't ask for that.
Alright. But for today...
My nemesis, the wasp, has returned.
Oh no.
Is it even? Oh, you know what? It's in our
Wait
drive.
Second.
It's also on our Discord, isn't it? Like the full version.
Yeah, but if I switch that window of Discord, it screws up our OBS screen.
Yay, technology.
Yeah. Sounds. Well then.
I just hear her in the background. She's trying to kill a wasp.
Got him.
Got him. Good. Great. Fantastic.
What the hell? I put it in our drive and now...
Glad you're able to keep your house safe from the terrible wasps.
Oh, okay. So I think there's a nest somewhere in like the upper attic of the townhouse that we can't get to because they hover around the chandelier here.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, like I thought there was. Last year we had several bees. I think they were carpenter bees, but we had several that like somehow got into the bathroom and then just died. And because they couldn't get back out again. So I was like, are you coming from the attic? Because there's the skylight there. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they just shimmied their way in from the attic.
Okay. I'm going to play this and see if it goes through to the stream. Or attempt it. There we go.
We got perspective, we got the cool, we got the muscle, and you know we effing rule. We are the Geek Grills, we are the Geek Grills, alright! We got the know-how, we got control, we got the knowledge, and we tell you how it rolls. We are the Geek Grills, we are the Geek Grills, alright! We are the Geek Grills, we are the Geek Grills, tonight! Hell yeah.
Yay, it worked!
Hooray!
So, of course, I forgot to turn on the stream, but then it would have been a horrible audio disaster. But I can check the video later and make sure it went through to there. And if not, add it. So the two people watching us, well, one's me, theoretically heard it. Wow, it redlines like crazy in OBS too, though. So,
Boy.
whew.
We're too powerful.
We are too powerful. I haven't gotten the rest of the files from him yet, but I think it's really spiffy and sweet of him to be doing all that
Yeah,
extra
all
shit
of
he was going
that,
to send
yeah.
us. Yeah,
He's
So
a
cool.
sweetheart.
he is. He probably felt like he had to because Rob ended up doing the bass line. All right. So whenever you're ready, we are good.
Okay, so that was the playthrough, and you're just gonna chop it in.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I am ready to go. Let me pull up my notes. Click. There we go.
Excuse me.
You're fine. Okay, put down the yarn. Hello and welcome to episode 164 of Geek Girls. The Geek Girls podcast is supported primarily by our patrons. You can find us at patreon.com/grills. I'm Linda and I'm joined by my co-host September, aka 9 of 12,
Hello, hello, hello.
and Ray.
Hello.
So today's topic is we're going to talk about virtual conventions because in the year of cancellations, everything that can go virtual seems to be going virtual, including conventions. So we'll be talking about that when we get to it. But first and foremost, what have y'all been up to? We missed last week because Ember wasn't feeling good, so we're back on it again today.
Yay.
So who wants to go first? Tell me what you've been up to. What have you been doing? Inform me.
I'll go. What the hell? So, first off, what we've all been up to, we have a theme song. Those of you that showed up live, or those of you that are listening to the podcast form, will hear our new theme song by Mike TV. You can find him at Twitch at Mike TV Live. He's from Get Set Go. Well, he kind of is the band Get Set Go. But he live streams only original music. He has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs, probably thousands, for like 4 hours at a time. Most days a week. Great, like, solid workout horse, great musician, and a sweet, sweet boy. And, you know, kind of hot. So there's that bonus. But I met him years ago at Nerdtacular convention, and he's a friend of the show. He's been on the show. And we commissioned him to write this theme song, and it was quite a challenge because it's like, what's the show about? Well,
Lots of things.
that's not real specific, but he did a fantastic job, and we're super happy with that. So, yeah, you'll be hearing that, and probably more stingers and bumpers to come made out of it. I got my hair cut, finally, so I have this asymmetrical bob. I took it all the way on one side up to where my white streak is, and then left the other side almost as long as it was. So it's really neat. It's got this like severe straight angle along the back, and my stylist was like, "This is so exciting! Nobody does this cool shit anymore." And I looked up I had to hack into my old Yahoo account to find a video from a conference I went to where we did this. So that's been nice.
awesome.
I lost a friend a close friend. His name was Matthew. He was very much part of my kind of formative years through my 20s and 30s and 40s. 20s and 30s, we still lived really close to each other and stuff. But, I mean, he was at my wedding. He called one of the quarters. He bestowed upon my son his secret name because he was Faye. He was so Faye. And I've never cried as much over a death as this one. And it's been hard for my whole little community. This is like my tribe from back home that we would go to Brushwood Camp every year for a week. And, yeah. So that was difficult. We don't know how, which is another crazy thing. We don't know what happened. His best friend, Drow, hadn't heard from him. Asked another friend of ours who lives in New York City, where Matthew lives, asked Balaj to go check on him. And he wasn't answering texts or calls, which, I mean, that's not out of the normal for a lot of people. So he was like, well, I'm going to have this other friend who's not really part of the close circle, like, call, because then he'll answer. And he still didn't. And that person lived in the same neighborhood, went over and knocked, and eventually rang all the bells. And a neighbor came out, some little kid, and said, oh, they took his body a week or so ago.
Oh, dear.
And so they spent some time, and they tracked down, he was in a morgue in Queens, even though he lived in Brooklyn. And the police would say nothing, but he had died on the 24th. And they asked if the family had been notified, and they said, well, that would be our responsibility. And my friends tracked down the family, and they had not been notified. It had been almost 2 weeks. And we still don't know what happened. They can't even do an autopsy till toxicology is in, and that's going to take a long time because with Corona, all the systems are overloaded.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we don't have any idea what exactly happened except he's gone. And I have a new tattoo scheduled. I have a lithograph on my wall that he made when he was getting ready to graduate from art school. That's what he went to college for. And I have this really cool lithograph. It's got like, and I remember him telling me about when he was grinding the stone to make the pattern, and like he kind of tranced out, and it's got all different stuff in it. It's like, what do you see? And some people see a key, and some people see a man, and some people see an owl. And I talked to a friend of mine who's a tattoo artist, and I'm going to get that on my forearm opposite my Bowie Prince tribute, which also seems apt. If you knew Matthew, he was magical. So anyway, sorry it was long-winded, but I'm still,
It's okay.
now I can tell it without crying, so that's progress.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, he was always very supportive of my creative endeavors, of which this is one. So what else? I did some painting of more cool gravestone makeup brush holders and things. And I got a new wood burning set. In the weird pandemic world we live in, I'm in these Facebook groups, and we send each other little shit from our Amazon wish lists, and like just kind of women supporting each other. And one of the groups did a Christmas in July that had like a little higher dollar limit. And I was like, I have a bunch of little shit on my list, but I threw on this one thing. It was like almost to the whole $20, pie in the sky, and I got a wood burning kit. Like, I used to wood
They're
burn,
fun.
but I
They're
only ever
fun.
had like one that had 2 tips. It was just kind of a shitty little one, but I used to do cool stuff. This one has like, I don't even know, 20, 30 tips. This thing is all the bells and whistles, and a case that zips up in. And so I'm now itching to burn things, and I started with, it's really hard, and I'm not used to this tool and haven't done this in a long time, but I've started with the Ake Willow logo as requested by Amy Frost.
That's intense.
Cool.
It's really pretty. It's a stylized tree with like the roots twirling this way, and then the willow like
Yeah.
swirling the other way, so it does this kind of weird, not
Yeah.
weird, it's very pretty, but it does like this kind of thing.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
tricky. It's tricky. I'm still working on it, and I probably should have. And I told Amy this. I chatted with her a little earlier. I'm like, I should have, tried all the new tips and tools on scrap wood, but I am no good at motivating myself to sit down and do some shit like that. Like, I want, even if it's bad, something done that I can look at to improve upon when I do a project. So I
Well,
just dove right in.
I will say, and I mean, obviously, you have some experience with this. It's just been a while. I do like the carbon paper because you can draw on it, and then it draws onto the wood for you. It's basically a trace. You can use it as tracing paper, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll whatever you trace, it'll draw on the wood for you because it's carbon paper.
Yeah, I might give in to that. My husband was suggesting things like that, and I'm like, I don't want to cheat. Uh,
It's
and I never did before. Like, I have done things like he made these little boxes, and I made like a deer head on one for my dad, and a fish for my mom's ex-boyfriend, and
I'm just not real good at drawing, so that's why I use
yeah,
it.
me neither. But I might go ahead and try that, especially with I'm doing coasters right now, so it's so small. And like this pattern in particular is detailed enough, I might give that a go. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. And I made pickles because the cucumbers are coming in like crazy. And I got to make more pickles. And no one in town had anything but half pint jars. I ended up actually going into Michael's today to get mason jars. It's that bad. Like, they're not in the hardware stores. There's not. This is the fallout from at the beginning of the pandemic. Everybody planted a garden. Now no one
Yeah.
in town has mason jars. And I also, while we were on break, the day we should have had our show, July 13th, I got to wish my daughter happy birthday for the first time since she was born. So,
Yay.
yay! And tomorrow she should be getting the cookbook.
Cool.
I compiled and added to and fixed up, and I mailed her an updated version of my family recipes from everybody in the family. Weirdly enough, it's got recipes in there from her biological father's mom that were in the recipe cards from when everybody spoke to each other. So that's kind of neat. Oh, and weirdly enough, that woman messaged me on Facebook on Courtney's birthday. So it's been a weird emotional week, but I also mailed Courtney the first butternut squash out of my garden. It was cute and little, and it fit in the flat rate box with the cookbook. Like, weirdest packing material ever? Maybe.
Here's a cookbook and also a squash. Happy birthday.
And Maggie, my granddaughter. Her birthday was a few days later.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
lots of events.
Yes, sorry. Long-winded. But it's been 2 weeks. What have
Yeah,
you
it
been up
has.
to, Ray?
Not much. Actually, I was gonna mention on the you were talking about mason jars, and like half of my friends have gotten into making jellies and jams of what they've been growing. My husband, meanwhile, has been getting into fermentation.
Of course he has.
So that's where all of our mason jars.
This is my shocked face.
But we have some delicious garlic honey, so I'm not complaining. Yeah. But let's see. I ended up getting some line work done on my shiny tablet, my Huon tablet that I got. So that was my big splurge. More Stardew Valley. I'm slowly getting through all those achievements on my completionist game. And I finally got to make my character for Night in Question, which is a vampire LARP down kind of outside Austin, which luckily was pushed back to next year, so I don't have to worry about going there this year, even though I already have the week off. But I gotta make the character, which is an artsy runaway street kid, basically. But she's like I'm older, so obviously she's older, so I'm gonna be playing young 30s, so closer to my age at least. Very much the mom friend. And I got Peace Talks this week, which is the new Dresden Files book by Jim Butcher.
Hmm.
And I cranked through that in 2 days because they are like popcorn, and I like them. So that was
Fair.
pretty much it.
And then as for me, I have like a paragraph written in the notes, so I apologize in advance. So
That's
I
okay.
made
Everyone missed you.
I made a
and then
plushy
as for me,
blanket.
I have,
like
like, a
those little
paragraph written in
baby
the notes,
blankets
so
that
I
have a head on
apologize
them
in advance.
for my
So
friend's
I
Okay,
made
everyone
baby.
missed you.
I don't know what to call them. Plushy blanket works for me. And I already mailed it off, so I don't have it to show off for our live folks, but I do have a picture of it that we'll put up either in the notes or in the chat. And it's based off of Kix from Animal Crossing, because that is her favorite game. Kix is her favorite animal, and she promised me that, or favorite villager character. And she promised me that she wouldn't steal it from her baby. So there's that.
Oh boy.
I have finished and put borders on the cat blocks for the blankets, so I can show you my. Here is the do November Cat's Dream of Fish one
Aw.
for November, and then December. So he's just looking up at the holly.
Meow. Oh.
Meow. So now I'm working on the header and footer for the full blanket, which is just going to be some paw prints going across one way and then the other way for the bottom, with all the colors I used in the actual blocks.
Pause. 1 minute. I have to do something. It might break the stream,
Uh-oh.
but it's for our own good. I promise.
Okay.
I fucked up and I didn't plug the computer I streamed from back into beep at me into the hardwire. So we were streaming via Wi-Fi, and I was like, ooh,